obviously, G, you were here yesterday, but we're going to, and we'll move it forward. But the three of us were not here yesterday, and we haven't had a chance to react on this show.
Floor is yours.
To the disaster that was that game and Deshaun Watson.
Have at it, Hoss.
Partake.
Well, I mean, first, when it comes to Deshaun Watson, to me, it was interesting how in the last 24 hours since the game, or whatever, 36 hours, some of the most diehard Deshaun Watson defenders are done. And the first one that comes to mind is
didn't it just flip like that?
Like that.
Like every national media member, every analyst was just like, okay, it's time. We're done.
Shannon Sharp was like one of the biggest defenders of Deshaun Watson. He called him the Ben Simmons of the NFL yesterday. Is there any bigger insult?
Not a bad take.
No, not at all. Ben Simmons was an all-star, defensive player of the year, nice a scrub.
Relatively speaking.
I know. We hate that. But
I don't like being called scrub.
yeah, hey, he doesn't like the scrub. Deshaun Watson absolutely should be benched. And I'll tell you something else. I do not want to hear, when I said Deshaun Watson should be benched the other day, I got a lot of people tweeting at me saying, Bull, shut up, it's not his call, it's Jimmy Haslam's call. Let me tell you something, okay? Most of us in life, all of us here that work here, and most people in their jobs, 99% of us, if the boss tells you to do something, you got to do it. Ultimately, you can argue, you may be in a position to debate a little, but ultimately you got to do what the boss tells you to do.
Yes.
Kevin Stefanski has made enough money that he and his family are set for life, okay, as long as he's been somewhat smart. And his contract is guaranteed. If Jimmy Haslam fires him today, he's getting paid every dollar that Jimmy owes him, every dollar. So to me, if I had that kind of hammer, we all want the hammer, Dustin, you know that. If I had the hammer that Kevin Stefanski does, and I wanted to bench Deshaun Watson, and Jimmy said no, I'd say, Jimmy, I'm the football coach. I make the decisions. I am benching Deshaun Watson. End of conversation. Because you are going to lose the team.
So I'm sort of with you on that. Like, I think Stefanski can make the call.
Yes.
And if he doesn't make the call, first off, he would make the call. Every point you just laid out is dead on. The money, the job, your reputation.
Yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to look at Kevin Stefanski going forward, they're going to be like, okay, that guy's got stones, or he is going to cower to ownership.
Yeah.
He's not going to cower to ownership. The guy's his reputation as a coach is on the line. The locker room on the line.
Yeah.
Listen, I think we're coming to a point where he's going to make that call.
Yeah.
It's just not this week. Like, I think it could happen next week very quickly. But to jump ship that, like, after, it was a terrible game on Sunday. We all know that, like his worst by far. But the point is, he's close. And I guarantee it'll happen next week if he has another 8 quarterback rating game.
I mean, it has to. I would hope
because the locker room knows for a
Yeah.
fact that Jameis Winston would play better than Deshaun did on Sunday against the Commanders.
And by the way, I used the example, Dustin, on my podcast Sunday of when I remember the story you told me about Gibran Hamden. Was that his name?
Gibby, yeah, Gibran Hamden.
Who played like 2 snaps in the NFL.
He was the starting quarterback in Indiana, and he played like
But
you said.
guys saw him in, I don't know if it was camp or practice or
No,
whatever.
every day.
And you were like, he's the best, but he never got a chance. And you lose players that way.
Well, in that situation, a little different than here. We didn't have any really good quarterbacks at the time. I mean, we had a bunch of just average guys. But here, I mean, Deshaun, yes, you're invested, lots of money. Guy was super talented. Okay, do we have eyeballs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it. We've seen it. It's not there.
Tyvis.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, you have to change something. Something has to switch. Whether it can be play calling, whether it's benching Deshaun, whatever. One of those two things has to happen. Because if I'm a player on this team, there's no way that you're going to sell me on the fact that we're going to win a game, running everything back this next week. Like, you're not about to sit there and tell me that, the Washington Commanders just had a really good defensive plan for our offense, and that's why we didn't do anything. Like, baloney. I'm not hearing that.
No.
Like, it's been 5 weeks, and you said the same thing. And you sold us on the fact that this offense was going to be this, that, and the third, and I haven't seen this, that, or the third yet. So why would I continue to be like, believe in this? And on top of that, you owe it to 52 other guys in that locker room that go out there and bust their butt every day, that's putting their bodies on the line. Myles Garrett is probably, I thought about this too. Speaking of Myles Garrett, So you remember when Deshaun was with the Texans and they went 4-12 or whatever the case may be, and J.J. Watt walked up to him and said, "We need to apologize because we just wasted one of his prime years." Well, he needs to go right around and say the same thing to everybody else in that locker room, because that's exactly what he's turning around doing. They're wasting prime years, and some of these prime players that we depend on is toward the end of their prime. And we're wasting it because we're trying to figure out this offense. And, like, we don't have time for that. Like, Myles Garrett is out there on 70% of his body right now, and he's still going as hard as he possibly can. And he goes out there for 3-4 plays. They get a stop, and then guess what? 4 plays later, boom, he got to go back out there again. Like, it's ridiculous. And like I say, I don't know how y'all look yourselves. I know everybody in that building is, we keep everything in the building. We block out the noise and all that. With all that said and still, there's no way that y'all about to tell me that Kevin's going out there calling the plays, Deshaun's going to play quarterback, and we're going to go out there and win against the Eagles. There's no way. I have no faith in that.
And by the way, we know Washington's 4-1, and obviously they're playing great, but it's all about their offense. Their defense stinks against everybody but the Browns. They had the worst. You know how the Browns obviously have the worst third down offense in the league?
Yes.
Coming into that game, the Washington had the worst third down defense by far. And the Browns still sucked on third down against the worst.
They were worse than their average.
Yes. They 1 for 13, right?
1 for 13. The
Against
only one they
the
converted
worst
was
third
the
down
last one.
defense in the entire league.
Yeah,
dude,
it was bad.
this is like a 3 to 4 win team right now.
Yeah.
Now that could change. Like if you decide you're going to play Watt or Winston.
Yeah.
And the team's, because the team is very talented still. Nick Chubb's going to come back at some point. But if you're going to put that quarterback out there like that, who's seeing ghosts, who's lost his confidence clearly, you're not going to win, and you're going to be picking at the top of the draft.
We need
That's
to.
right.
We
They'd have
need
the third
to,
pick
Maybe
right
you
now.
should play him.
We need to. We need to play the quarterback that's going to be the future of this franchise.
Yeah.
DTR.